selling yourself with effective elevator speech. This is how to present yourself, how to make sure that you create the best impression that people can learn from. One thing I have discovered over the years is that success is not necessarily based on talent. It's not based on how well, in fact, sometimes not based on how hard you work. It is based on your ability to present yourself effectively to people who need to make decisions about you. So you can have all the gifts and all the talent, but if you don't come before people who will make decisions about you, or you come across as not being so serious, they may not actually choose you above other persons that are available. So that is one very, very important thing. Imagine all the researches that ended up in the cupboard or on the table because they could not be sold. Imagine innovative ideas that ended up on a shelf because the ideas could not be pushed. Now imagine musics that were sung and recorded and nobody listened to. Imagine all of those. So the idea is, how do you present yourself so that people can learn about you? I want to begin by telling you the story about perception. Several years ago, I came across a research. It was a psychology research. And the research was to measure how people perceive things. So the idea was this. People were asked to volunteer. And from the story, this young man volunteered, and he was asked to enter a room. When he entered the room, he saw 10 seats available, and 9 people were already seated. So he was the last person, and he was asked to join. So he sat down. When they were seated, they were introduced, and they were told, this is the experiment. They gave them a ruler. The ruler was this long. Can everybody see my hand? The ruler was this long. And then they said, take a look at this ruler. Okay, we want you to observe it very carefully. They handed it over to the first person. The person looked at it, checked the size, the height, and all of that. Are you satisfied? Said yes. Pass it on to the next person. And they passed it on from number 1 to number 10. When they were done, they went on break for a few minutes. And then they came back. Then they brought a ruler that was this long. Can you see the difference? They handed over the ruler to the first person and they asked, is this the same ruler you saw the first time? He looked at it and said, oh, yes, definitely. They gave it to the same second person and the person says, it looks like it. Yeah, it is. They gave it to the third, the fourth, the fifth, up to the ninth. And the person looked at it and said, oh, definitely, I'm sure. When it got to the 10th person, he was confused. This is not the ruler I saw. This is way smaller. But can 9 persons be blind? 9 people cannot be stupid now. So they asked, is this the same ruler you saw? He said yes. And then the experiment was over. What he did not realize was that the 9 people were control experiments. Them agreed on what to say. It was his own perception that was being measured. So which means he was actually the subject of research. And what were they trying to prove? Your decision is not based on right or wrong. It is based on so many factors that are around you. Number 1, interacting with people around you and not wanting to look stupid. Number 2, based on information you have received. You know the Bible says that faith comes by hearing, right? And when you hear 9 persons says yes, 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 when it comes to you, you don't want to say no. Otherwise, it's where are you coming from? What I'm saying is this. When it comes to making a decision about your research, when it comes to making a decision about your innovation, it will be subject to people's perception, not necessarily right or wrong. So what we're talking about is making the best impression so that people can make the right decision about you. Are we good? Very good. Now you'll do something very little for me before we start. Will you please look to your right and to your left and introduce yourself to somebody very, very briefly? I am very serious about this, so I'm timing you. You have 30 seconds to do this. 9, 8, 7, 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time up. How was that? Awesome, right? Okay. Let's hope that you think it is still awesome by the time you hear what I want to say next. I want you to write down 5 things that you can remember from the person who just introduced himself to you. Shebi, it was awesome, Abi. Now. 5 things, very quickly, that you can remember. Let's count down. How many people were able to get 5? Can I see your hands up? 5? Okay, good. How many people got 4? You got at least 4 things, all right? How many people got 3? Still not a majority. How many people got 2? Okay, 2. How many people got 1? Some people did not raise their hand at all. Can you at least remember the name of the person sitting next to you? Now, you see, what we just did now is what we call elevator speech. But before we go on, let me quickly tell you what we'll be doing. In the brief moment that I have, we'll be defining what elevator speech is. We'll be talking about why it is important, why it's relevant. We'll look at fallacies, what people believe about it that is not true. We'll look at models of it, and of course, what next? So, what is elevator speech? What you have just done right now, within 30 seconds, is an idea of what an elevator speech is. An elevator speech is not speech you have in the elevator. Let us clear that right now, all right? It is not speech that is restricted to the elevator. Don't mind the name. The idea is this. It is a speech that is brief, that is detailed, that is short, concise. So you make information available to someone within the time that it takes to ride in an elevator. The concept is this. Supposing you bump into someone that you have been praying to meet, someone that you have been looking forward to meet, and all you have is just 30 seconds. You just enter into an elevator and you met the person there. And all you have is between now and when you reach the next floor to make sense. Will you be able to? That is the idea of an elevator speech. So it's supposed to be as short as that. Actually, some say it can be longer, but you don't need it to even be that long. Okay? So that is what we'll be talking about, and we'll move very quickly. Let's quickly talk about the relevance of elevator speech. Why is it relevant? Number one, for first impression. They usually say that first impression lasts the longest. There are some people who you met who did not put up their best behavior, or it was not under the best circumstances. Even if you got to change your mind about them somewhere along the line, you never forgot about the first time you saw them. So you don't get a second time to make a first impression. So elevator speech is you walking up to somebody and connecting with the person for the first time. Whatever impression the person has about you is what the person takes away. Now, my presentation is one in which I get to make you uncomfortable on this side of the aisle. So let's just say that it's not one where you relax and hear. It's one where I get to engage you too. So please, can you just open your note right now and write down the first impression you want people to have of you. Just have a picture in your mind of someone you want to sell your idea to. A research. You have a body you want to fund your project, fund your research. What kind of impression do you want them to have about you? Can you just write it down? Can you just write it down? What impression do you want people to have about you? Have we been able to do that? Good. Now we move on. The next one, efficient communication. Can you please look around and see everybody in this room? Can you just look around and see everybody? Can you see? Can you see? Okay. Now imagine we're on coffee break and it is just about 15 minutes. And everyone in this room wants to speak with you. How many minutes do you think it will take to have an interaction with every single person here? And the question is, how many of those conversations will you remember? Have people introduced themselves to you before and they told you their name, and by the time you walk away, you can't even remember the name they told you? Has it happened to you before? Yeah, I can tell. Even looking at your faces, I can tell. The truth is, I'm guilty too. When you have a lot of things in your mind, and somebody just introduces himself to you, by the time you walk away, there's a tendency for the name not to even stick. Now, when we're talking about effective communication, all right, we're talking about the need for you to be able to say the most within the shortest time. Save the person's time, all right? If you have an opportunity to pitch an idea, don't start with your great-grandfather, all right? Unless the idea was passed down directly and it can be linked. You don't have to tell us about how you grew up unless it is significantly related to what you are talking about. So when you have the opportunity to speak, context may not be necessary. Somebody says, no, you don't understand. Sorry, can you just tell me what? No, sir, you will not understand. I need to tell you where I'm coming from so that you can get what I'm trying to say. No, see, forget about where you're coming from. Just tell me what you need, sir. No, sir. You will appreciate it more by the time I tell you the story. No, I don't have the time to hear the story. Just go straight. Oh, I wish I can tell you the story. The story is the context. We don't need the story. We need to go straight to the point. So that is effective and efficient communication. The next one is networking. Why is it relevant? When you are at an event like this, you are looking for who to connect with that has mutual interest. You go to a conference, you go to an exhibition, you go to somewhere where you are putting out product. It is not everybody there that is important to you, but there are people you want to connect with. So the time you have to connect with them is a brief moment, particularly when so many other persons want to speak with them. Imagine all the persons that are presented here today, and the moment they stepped out, somebody here wants to talk to them and connect. The presentation that was made, the panel discussion where the issue of cancer came up, and the questions, I noticed that majority of the questions that were asked were in that direction. Okay? Now imagine that she stepped out and most people follow. The question is, how many people will she get to listen to In what way can you meaningfully connect? So that is another thing. The next one is business development. You have a beautiful idea like the startups that have made their presentations today, and you need somebody to invest in your idea. How do you present yourself? The last one is self-reflection. A lot of people have not taken enough time to look inward. If I ask you right now that what is your strength that you want to market in just one word, you would notice that you have to think deep before you arrive at it. Sometimes when you come before that person that you want to speak to, that is when you start to grope around for words. So, elevator speeches help you to reflect on yourself and to think about what you want to tell people. So if you have the opportunity of making just one sentence, what will it be? So these are the reasons why elevator speeches are very important. Now let's talk about the fallacies. Number one, people think that elevator speech is about details. No. As a matter of fact, detail will be a liability if you have to say too much. It's about relevance. Of all the things that you say, how much of it affects me? That is the importance of elevator speech or pitch. So you are trying to sell an idea. Everything you are saying may not make a meaning to me. The question is, how relevant is it? So that is number one. Number two, that it's about now. You know we talk about 30 seconds. So somebody thinks that elevator speech is about right now. I want to deliver it now. I want to get attention now. You are wrong. Elevator speech is about future. 30 seconds is not enough for you to seal a lifetime deal. You are trying to make impression so that you can get an appointment. Did somebody hear what I'm saying? The reason for the elevator speech or pitch is to attract attention, is to win favor so that the person can say, I like this idea, let's carry the conversation forward. It is not because of now, it is because of later. So the success of your pitch is not in the 30 seconds, but what comes after. So it's not about now, it's about later. So all you're trying to do is to make an impression that gives you a second hearing and perhaps a third. The next one is it's about you. You are wrong. All you're thinking about is your innovation. All you are thinking about is your research. But let me ask you this question. Let us try to be very objective. Do you think that a sponsor woke up this morning and all they had in their mind was your name? They are thinking that they are coming to an event like this because you will pitch an idea to them that they don't even know exists, and they already have money ready to sponsor your research or to sponsor your product? The answer is no. If they come here, they have come here for their own purpose, not for you. So, whoever it is that you are chasing after is actually chasing after somebody else. When you go to a networking event and you see very high-level donors and investors and researchers, as you are looking for them, they are also looking for a category of people. Did somebody hear what I'm saying? The question is, do you belong to that category? That is where the issue is. So a lot of times, we don't ask ourselves, what do those people need? You have to be what they need for them to need you. You are thinking so much about my pitch. This is the idea that I have. This is the business that I want to do. The question is, how does the business connect with me? Why should I care? So by the time you are done pitching, if I can't see myself in that presentation, I'll say, beautiful presentation. But we're not looking in that direction right now. Maybe in future. And that will be the end of the conversation. So now, I want to give you another task right now. Can you think of somebody you are trying to attract? Can you think of the kind of person that you want to sponsor your research? It can even be Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It can be anyone. Ask yourself right now, please write it down. What do you think they need? Because it is not about you, it's about them. The question is, I have an innovation, but how does my innovation solve their problem? If it does not solve their problem, they are not interested. Are we good? Very good. The next one is that it is a fallacy that an elevator speech is impromptu. Because we say it is 30 seconds, because we say you bump into the person, that gives you an impression that it is unprepared for. Wrong. You will discover now that if you have not prepared for it ahead of time, you cannot deliver it under pressure. Did somebody hear what I just said now? An elevator speech is what you prepare for, hoping you will meet the person you are looking for. It is not what you prepare when you meet the person. So it is not impromptu. By the time we go through the process right now, you will find out the specific things you need. And those things are not things you can easily think up unless you are used to it. And then the last point is that somebody thinks that my elevator pitch must be the same. Again, you are wrong. Depending on who you are trying to attract, you will continue to modify it. What you use for a particular organization may not be what you use for another organization because their focus is different. Can somebody understand what I'm saying? So every single time your pitch must evolve depending on who you are trying to attract. So it is not the same. Now, can we echo it together, please, everyone? What's the first fallacy? Hey, let me be sure you are still awake. What's the first fallacy? Very good. What's the second one? Very good. The third one? How about the fourth? And the fifth? Very good. Please put your hands together for yourselves. You're doing an excellent job. Now, let's get to the model. What exactly does an elevator pitch look like? And I'm going to do a demonstration for you, okay? We'll start from the base and go all the way up. So, introduction. Tell us your name and what you do, your designation. My name is Dr. Lanre Amadou. I'm the director of the Africa Leadership Development Center of Covenant University. The problem, what is the concern? You know how inventors and researchers stand before that person they have been hoping to meet, and all of a sudden they are tongue-tied. You know how they start to say everything except what is relevant. And then when they walk away, they feel bad for things they should have said and they did not say. Now that is a problem. What have you offering? I help people in such category to gain confidence and put their thoughts together so that they can present the best of their thoughts to their target audience. Now, let's talk about process. How do I do that? I achieve this through a very simple model that taps into the wealth of knowledge of the person and helps them to present it in a 6-step process. Result. We have found out that people who use our product or our process, they achieve about 40% results. They gain attention more. People are willing to listen to them. And for about 70% of people that have used this process, they have gotten a call for a second appointment. What is the ask? I don't know if you would want to have an opportunity to improve the way you speak, the way you put your thoughts together. I don't know whether you would actually want to get a second appointment with that person you've been wanting to meet so that they can actually sign you up and invest in your idea. So, what do you think about this? Ladies and gentlemen, we have gone from step 1 to what step now? 6. And all of the things I have said, I am not so sure that it's up to 30 seconds. Of course, I paused to explain. But did somebody understand the process I just took right now? Now, let's take it for research. My name is Dr. Lanre Amadou. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Mass Communication. Problem. Organizations are seriously adopting AI these days, but they are not thinking about the customer end of how it applies. You know how a lot of data is out there. While they are acting as though they care about the ethical part of it, there is the public relation angle that they are not looking at, which is my field actually. Offer. We can help you take into consideration all of these things to make sure that you don't ever have any crisis related to your adoption of AI in your organization. Because we take care of the crisis management aspect of things. Process. We come up with an outside-in process where we get the consent of customers before you even engage the use of AI. So before you even deploy it, they are willing and they are ready for it. Success rate. We have worked with about 100 organizations and they have reported 60% reduction of crisis. Ask. We want to engage with your organization because we know that you are a leading organization. We feel that our research will be profitable to you. How about engaging with us? Now, this is what I want you to do. I've told you my own now. So I want you to write an elevator speech as we are speaking right now. So now, I don't know what your research is. I don't know what your innovation is. I don't know whether you are looking for a grant. I don't know whether you are looking for a sponsor. I don't know whether you are looking for an investor. But I want you to use this process right now. So just make it easy for yourself and write number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, so that you can easily go to it. So number 1, introduce yourself. Tell us your name and your designation. You'll be so surprised how simple this is. But you have to think it through first. Have we done that? Very good. Problem. I want you to put in number 2 the problem that you have observed. If you are a researcher, it can be a question that agitates your mind. You know, the research question that you are out to solve. Something that bothers your mind that you feel you are in a position to solve. So if it's a product, if it's a service, of course, tell us the problem that you have observed, which in your mind you will solve. Good. Now, I want you to go to the offer. How do you help people overcome that problem? It can be a research issue, all right? Great. So now, let's go on to number 4, which is your process. As a researcher, one of the things that is unique about your research is that you may have come up with a methodology that is different. You may have come up with a novel idea that you want to apply that will achieve things better. So, what is your process? How do you do this? Now, please take note that you don't have to give too much detail here, because by the time you disclose your trade secrets and they say they are not interested, they go back to their organization and re-engineer and do reverse engineering and forward engineering and roundabout engineering, and they come about what you are looking for. So you only want to talk about the process, not talking about the details of how you do it. You don't even have the time anyway. All right, have we done that? Good. Now let's go on to results. What kind of results have you achieved so far? You know, before you even seek for a grant, you must have done some preliminary research. You must have done some pilot studies. You must have achieved some things. So the question is, what kind of results do you have that gives us the confidence that we can invest in you and the investment will not be lost? Have you deployed it before? Has anybody used it? What is the traction like? Just give us an idea. And finally, what exactly do you want? Do you want an investment? Do you want partnership? Do you want someone to sponsor your research? What exactly do you want? So state it there. All right, now we're ready. I usually would like to begin with volunteers. I don't like volunteers though, because I prefer to point and give the microphone to anybody. But if anybody volunteers, it makes life easier for everybody. So we can start with that. Wonderful. I have a volunteer already. Oh, beautiful. Please, can I see the hands again? So all you do is just give us that pitch based on that, and I am timing you for 30 seconds. And your time starts now.
Okay, my name is Kenneth from Adron Homes and Properties. That's my designation. I'm DCRO. The problem that we are looking at is to solve accommodation problem. What we offer is estates across Nigeria. We have in Atlanta and several other places. Then we go to process. We have payment method, a year, 2 years. As people can pay gradually, they have their land or house. Then the result is that we have so many estates that... Thank you.
No, please finish up. Please put your hands together for him.
All right.
Put your hands together for him.
We have so many...
He has gotten all the way to result, yes.
We have so many estates that people are occupying presently, even in Atlanta here and several places. Then lastly, we want everyone to subscribe to whatever it is that we have.
All right, well done. Now, one of the things that may have slowed you down is that you are mentioning the headings, problem, offer. I just did that to teach you can just go straight on. Thank you very much. Great job. Please, can we put your hands together for him again? That was a very good job. All right, sir. So your time starts now.
My name is Ladlayo. Sorry, my name is Ladlawa Otemlayo. I'm an MSc student in Bioinformatics, Covenant University. We have a problem that has to do with the fragmentation of anime and gaming communities. There's a split difference between them. And so what we are trying to do is we're trying to combine both communities into one place to solve whatever kind of needs in things of product design or whatever they might need around that community. The way we are trying to do that is create a platform that integrates AI and community-wise building into that same software. And the result is that we have a community of 6,000 gamers that...
All right, put your hands together for him. Thank you very much. 30 seconds matter. All right, your time starts now.
All right, my name is Damlari Taiwo, a research assistant at Capi Case Microbiology Department. Currently, we discovered that malaria has been resistant to certain drugs, and then we are carrying out a molecular epidemiology of drug-resistant malaria using some specific biomarkers to determine the resistant genes of how malaria have been resistant to certain drugs. And the offer is that we want to discover how we can then reduce and then eradicate malaria from Africa, from Nigeria to West Africa to...
Serious matter. Please clap for him. Now, you see, the challenge is with too much detail. Don't tell us how you do it. Because for one thing, if we know how you do it, we can copy it. We'll just go and do it somewhere else. So you just want to win our attention. Because by the time we are discussing the details, it will be under legal circumstances where nobody can have the right to use the idea that is... So it will be under non-disclosure situation. But if it is in a public place like this, we'll just say, thank you very much. We are not looking in that direction. We will get to our office. We will set up a committee instantly. Within 24 hours... While you are still pitching around, you know the reason you are pitching to us is because we have the resources, you have the idea. Now you have given us the idea and we have the resources. Just watch news tomorrow morning. You will see our product launch. Yes, and your time starts now. Now you are discovering that 30 seconds is actually short, right? So do you now see why an elevator speech cannot be an impromptu speech? Because there's no how you can think and deliver it within 30 seconds. Of course, really, sometimes it can be a little longer. We are just saying prepare for it within the shortest possible time. Unless you have thought about it ahead and you have planned what to say, you cannot think and say it in 30 seconds. It's not possible. Yes.
All right.
Your time starts now.
My name is Sheyi Anthony, a student of mass communication, 200 level, Connaught University. I venture into photography, and I mean, if I work with you, I'll be able to protrude your business into photographic aspect and advertise your business. Thank you so much.
All right. Please put your hands together for him. Now, you know what you did? You sacrificed content for time. Because in half of the time, you were done. But all you did was to tell me who you are and what you want to do for me. By skipping this process, you have not connected with me enough for me to say that, yes, there is a reason. Yes, someone is there? Yes, time starts.
My name is Pisobodo, a research assistant with Case. You agree with me that there's an increasing burden of anti-malaria resistance, and my team, we are currently running to discover novel means of treatment, and we've been able to isolate a target molecule from a plant, and we've been able to scale this, and we'd like to have a second meeting with you to discuss how we can collaborate for this to go further.
Fantastic. Well done within time. Very good. Where is the hand there? Okay. Elevator speech is making people sweat. All right, so please, you have 30 seconds to start now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Beppo Joy, and I'm the co-organizer for TEDx Governor University 2024. And now, what are we doing? TEDx is an event. For this year's event, we're trying to bring diverse groups of people together. We're talking people from fashion, finance, and music. And now, last year, TEDx had over 400 people in attendance, and the feedback is still ongoing. And what do I want? I've done research into your company, and I think that your company logo will look perfect right beside the TEDx as our official sponsor for the event. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Well done. Well done. I must say you skipped the problem. You went from introduction to what you offer. Oh, in fact, people are noticing. See? But nice job. You have tried to work within time. Nice effort. Yes. Start, please.
My name is Chukuma Collins, and I'm the team leader of Hero Motorsport. So what is the problem? There is no single car assembly power plant in Nigeria. What do we offer? We offer a step in that direction, a step into that market. How do we do this? We're doing this by bringing up a team of young engineers to build and race a Formula-style race car. The result has been past years and then the practical experience gained by those who are working now. What do we need? We need your help. We need your sponsorship. Thank you very much.
All right. Well done. Now, again, you don't want to mention those headings so that you don't sound mechanical. And then when you're talking about results, it's very good for it to be statistical. When you talk about percentages and all, it sounds heavier and sounds more effective. All right, everyone, please put your hands together for everyone that has tried. I'm sure that by now you'll discover that it is not easy. It is not easy. So which means that this is something you practice. This is something you say over and over again. I have discovered that even if you wrote it yourself, you must practice it to be familiar with it. Otherwise, it will not work. I had an interesting experience a couple of years ago. My center organized a program in this very hall, and the chancellor was going to make a presentation. So I wrote the opening speech. I wrote it. So I assume I can say it. But when I tried to say it, I discovered I was stumbling and saying nonsense. So I decided that, okay, I think rehearsal is necessary here. So I stood in front of the mirror and rehearsed it a few times. After I did it a few times, it became easier, but there were still some words I was stumbling on. So I said, you know what? I'll have a piece of paper in front of me so that as I'm speaking, I will just pie. Fine. So I came early and my things were right there. We had not started because we were waiting for the chancellor. And then all of a sudden, they said the chancellor is around. So I went outside to go and receive him. As I was coming in, I did not know that they have started the program behind me. I was coming in there, they just said, we want to invite the director of LDC to come on stage. So I had to walk from that door to this place. As I was walking, I was looking at where my note is. These notes. What was left was for me to say what is in this head. Thank God I rehearsed. I systematically left all of those lines I cannot manage. I can only say what I remember anyway. I compressed everything and delivered it. The speech was short, but it was good. At the end of the day, he said, nice speech, and it was brief. At the end of the day, the brevity was even what impressed him the most. If I had had a note, I would have perhaps spoken longer than what I planned to speak. So rehearsal is so important. Even if you wrote it yourself, practice it until it becomes a part of you. Do we all understand that? Very good. Now let's move forward and begin to work towards wrapping this up. So now let's assume that you get a yes. So you have gone through the elevator pitch and you have delivered it, and the person says yes. There are two kinds of yeses you can get. The first one is, yeah, we have been looking for something like this. Can you tell me more? Which means the person is immediately interested right now. Ladies and gentlemen, what you do is very simple. Tell a story. Tell a story. a story of how it has worked. This is not the time to go into the details of the process. The person will get bored very easily. Tell a story. Say, oh, wow, I like the idea, so tell me about it. Thank you, sir. You see, 5 years ago, we had this project, and this was what we did. We deployed this process, and the result was phenomenal. And since 5 years, we have scaled up everything we do. We now know that if we deploy it for you, even the result will be much better. Again, the person has gotten interested, and the person says, we can carry on the conversation. The second one is that the person is interested, but the person does not have the time right now. Wow, I like the idea. I think we should carry on this conversation. How about fixing an appointment, and we'll talk more? Don't just say thank you very much, sir. Goodbye, sir. The question is, who will you call when you get into the organization? When you get to the gate, they won't let you in. Says, please, sir, can I get your number so that I can contact you? It gives you his number. So I want to find out if this is your direct line or I'll be speaking with somebody else. Because it can give you a political line that does not work and you will call it forever and it will never ring. Or it can go to somebody else who every time he will say, sorry, he's busy in a meeting. Sorry, he's busy. If he's really interested in it, he should give you his line so that I can connect. So make sure that you get a commitment if the person is interested. But can I say at this point that please don't put pressure. Remember, you need a collaboration and you need a favor. So you don't want to push the person so much so that they don't get tired and say, what are you doing here? So what happens if in case you get a no? You can't always get a yes. For researchers, you know that you would have sent to a lot of grant awarding bodies and quite a number will turn you down before you get the actual one. So one of the things you want to do is understand why. When somebody wants to sell you a product or a service and you say no, it is usually for one of these three reasons. Number one, it just does not interest you. It is not what you are looking at. Now, if you go to a grant awarding body, they have their focus, they have their idea, they know what they want to invest in. So if you pick something else that is not within their scope, they may not be interested. If you go to a company that wants to invest in your novel idea, some of them may not be interested in tech. They may be interested in agriculture. So if you go and meet somebody who's interested in agriculture and you want to push tech, they may not be quite interested. So the first thing is, are they not interested? The next question is that it is possible they have somebody else that is doing something similar. And the third reason is that they feel they can do it themselves. We have a research team in-house that can conduct this research. So why do we need you? So you need to understand the reason there is no. The reason you need to understand it, it may not be to get a second opportunity with the same organization. But if you know why, you can package yourself better for the next pitch that you make. And the second thing when you get a no is that you can actually have a bargain. The person says, no, we're not looking at that right now. The cost is not what we are looking at. Say, sir, we can scale down the research. If we do, will that still interest you? Okay, sir, maybe the tech project we have is too big for you to, you may not be looking in that direction right now. What if we take a part of it and then we scale it over the next 5 years? Will that interest you? So see if you bargain, the person will be interested in going for it. And in conclusion, you don't need a lifetime to sell yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've done any bit of economics, then you understand the law of diminishing returns. The longer you speak, the lesser people hear. As a matter of fact, you will get to a point that what you are saying now is canceling out everything you have said before. By the time you are done, people cannot remember a thing that you said. Maybe you are speaking for 1 hour, you are spoken for 15 minutes, and they were really impacted. The longer you are going, 30 minutes may be their threshold. If you go any longer than that, you start to minus 30, until you get to 0. You keep talking and people have stopped listening. So you don't need a lifetime to sell yourself. All you need is effective communication. And this brings us to the end of Elevator Pitch. Thank you very much.